Welcome to the TV Journal family of fine programming. Before we begin Safe Food Handling, we thought you might like a sneak preview of some other related programs in TV Journal's library. Enhance your staff's creativity when catering for special events with these fine programs from the Culinary Institute of America. Increase customer satisfaction and your income by putting these techniques to work for you. These programs have been selected and edited with institutional food service operations in mind. Reduce accidents and lost man-hours, increase worker safety awareness, and maybe even reduce your insurance premiums with TV Journal's Kitchen Safety. Its program format is similar to Safe Food Handling. We hope you enjoy it. For ordering information, see the literature enclosed with this video or call 1-800-468-9808.
I'm Cindy Clark. Today I'd like to talk to you about the safe handling of food, both in preparation and in service. Because as food service professionals, you know that proper food sanitation begins with you. It is your job to prepare and serve wholesome food following good sanitary procedures. But just what do we mean by wholesome food? Well, it means food that has been handled properly, from the point it's received until the point it's consumed. It looks and tastes good, and it's what makes for a satisfied customer. That's important to all of us. So in this program, you will learn about the principles of time and temperature, the controls you should exercise when storing, thawing, cooking, cooling, reheating, and serving hot and cold foods. And you'll also find out how to avoid food contamination through the systematic use of thermometers and safe food handling procedures. Now have your workbooks ready because you'll be using them during this program. We begin with a fascinating subject, time and temperature controls. Temperature is critical in good food service sanitation because the proper temperature of food is what assures you of quality. In food service, the most critical temperature range is from 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And by the way, all of the temperatures in this program will be measured in Fahrenheit. This is known as the danger zone. This is because leading experts in government agencies who regulate food safety temperatures have found that in terms of safety and quality, this temperature range is the one that most often affects prepared foods. So these are the guidelines we'll use in this program. However, there are slight variances in the range from state to state, so it's a good idea for you to check on what your local regulation is. Just remember that the danger zone is no joke. Food held between these temperatures for an extended period of time can actually endanger the life of your customer because it creates the perfect breeding ground for germs and bacteria. Here's what you can do about it. Check temperature gauges and thermometers in refrigerators and freezers every day. Make sure they are functioning correctly. It's also recommended that you post daily temperature charts. Inspect the interior of your cold storage area to ensure that all foods are properly covered and labeled. Cooked and prepared foods should be stored above raw foods, and all foods should be kept away from the floor and walls to allow for sufficient air circulation. Dry storage areas should also be neatly arranged. Sufficient air circulation is needed here too, so food should be stored away from walls, the floor, and any source of moisture. And it goes without saying that all areas should be neat and spotlessly clean, because dust and ordinary dirt can carry bacteria which can contaminate food. Now open your workbooks and turn to page 2 and see if you can answer these questions as we examine some storage areas. True or false? This refrigerated storage area meets all sanitary standards. The answer is false. All food trays must be covered. True or false? This person stored these trays correctly. The answer is true. These trays are placed separately to facilitate air circulation and cooling. True or false? The dry storage area may be used for many activities. The correct answer is false. Storage areas should only be used for food storage. Before you begin to handle food, inspect your workstation to see if everything is ready to go. Make sure your cutting board is free of nicks and deep cuts. The board should be clean and free of odors. Check that all pots and pans are clean and free of grease and grime. And closely inspect all knives and other kitchen utensils to ensure that they are clean and free of food particles. Knives can be tricky. Be certain to inspect the areas where the handles meet the metal. Some knives have gaps here that allow food to accumulate and germs to grow. Can opener blades should also be inspected. They must be sanitized every day and kept clean and free of dirt. Another good precaution is to wear plastic gloves. They must be changed each time a different food is handled, and they are not a substitute for washing your hands. Just remember, gloves are helpful, but they don't take the place of proper food handling practices. A thermometer helps you check the temperature of foods accurately. It should occasionally be checked by placing it in an ice and water bath. If it doesn't read 32 degrees, be sure to have it adjusted or replaced, because a thermometer that doesn't work properly won't be of much use to you. And we're about to see just how important temperature is. Take out the temperature chart in your workbook. We're now going to fill in the blank spaces where the important temperatures belong. We begin with the danger zone. Let's fill in the key temperatures in the danger zone. 40 degrees is the maximum storage temperature for cold foods, and 140 degrees is the minimum holding temperature for hot foods. Let's take a look at some other important temperatures in food handling, and don't forget to fill them in on your chart. All reheated meats, soups, and other animal food products must reach a minimum internal temperature of 165 degrees. Pork must reach a minimum internal temperature of 150 degrees when first cooked. Poultry must reach a minimum internal temperature of 165 degrees. Rare beef roast must reach a final minimum internal temperature of 130 degrees. All other cooked animal food products must meet the minimum internal temperature of 140 degrees. Now, the other element of control associated with temperature is time. Food should not be kept in the danger zone for more than 4 hours. But since you have no way of knowing what will happen to the food before or after it's in your control, the rule of thumb is to get it out of the danger zone as soon as possible. It's up to you to keep exposure time to an absolute minimum. Try to serve hot foods hot and get cooked food to the customer as quickly as possible. If the food is held at a steam table, remember that the minimum temperature must be 140 degrees. Serve cold foods cold. Don't let them sit at room temperature, especially those that are high in protein. You'll see some real-life applications of these principles in a few moments. But first, I'd like to show you something that everyone in the food service industry is really excited about. Maybe you noticed it before, the bird's eye juice dispenser. It may look like any other juice dispenser until we open it up. This makes it very special. It's a breakthrough system called the bag-in-the-box. It's something only available from Bird's Eye and General Foods, and I think you're going to find it fascinating. The concentrate, the line, even the mixing valve are all self-contained in this individual disposable container. So what does that mean for you? Well, most importantly, it means that you can say goodbye to sticky buildup, mold, and clogs in your juice dispensing equipment. Juice never comes in contact with the dispenser. Every time you replace the container, you get a fresh, clean start. All you need to do is wipe the exterior of the dispenser and empty the drip tray. There's no need to sterilize a holding tank, nothing that attracts pests, no need to train staff on complicated procedures because there's absolutely no cleaning required. To me, that's reason enough to want the Bird's Eye bag-in-the-box, but there's even more. The bag-in-the-box also means your product stays fresher because it's never exposed to ambient air. Since there's no need to pour concentrate into a tank, new product never mixes with old, and everything is maintained at the perfect temperature, 40 degrees. You can even change flavors midday without any waste. Simply store any unused product in the refrigerator until it's needed. Don't be surprised at the positive comments you'll get, because Bird's Eye features 7 juice and beverage flavors, and all of them give you top-of-the-line quality in appearance, taste, and variety. Mmm, delicious, and served up perfect every time. No mess, no fuss. Now it's time to stop the tape, go to your workbooks, and do the exercises for this segment. When you're through, come back. I'll have an interesting story to tell you about a turkey. Welcome back. In this next segment, you'll see some of the principles you've already learned put into action. We're going to see what happens to a frozen turkey from the time it's received right through to the time it's used up as a leftover. To help you remember them, we'll highlight the critical control points. Our first point of inspection is right after the turkey is delivered. Look for excessive ice buildup because this means that the turkey has been thawed and refrozen. And make sure that the packaging is intact without any tears or holes. Once it's passed inspection, the frozen turkey should be dated and placed in the freezer as soon as possible. Later, when selecting a turkey to defrost, the first in, first out method should be used. Take the turkey with the oldest date first. This form of stock rotation guarantees freshness and should be used for all products. Remember, freezers and refrigerators are not like banks where food may be stored indefinitely. Once you're ready to use one of these birds, the preferred method of defrosting something this large is to thaw on a tray in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days ahead of the required usage date. This will give the turkey adequate time to defrost. Of course, smaller items like chicken need less time to defrost. Remember to place the turkey on the lower shelf so that the drippings cannot accidentally fall on any food below it. There are 3 other methods that may be used for defrosting food. The first is to take the frozen food from the freezer and place it in the sink with cool water, about 70 degrees or cooler, running over it. This works best for small items like chicken parts. The second is to cook the item frozen. This method is best for foods like French fries and fish fillets. And the third is to defrost the item in the microwave oven. Use the method best suited to your needs. Our turkey is now ready to be cooked. Wash it thoroughly inside and out. After it's prepared, put the turkey in a roasting pan and into the oven. Or, if the turkey is not being cooked immediately, cover it and return it to the refrigerator. Before going on to any other work, it's very important to be certain that the preparation area and anything else that has been in contact with the turkey is thoroughly cleaned and sanitized. And that includes you. note that the food handler washes her hands. Later, when it's time to see if the turkey is fully cooked, pierce it with a food thermometer. Do you remember what the minimum internal temperature of a turkey should be? Those of you who said 165 degrees are correct. This bird goes back in. When the thermometer indicates the turkey is done, remove it from the oven. Let it cool slightly before carving to let the juices settle. After carving, place the meat in the pan or on a tray and bring it to the holding oven or steam table. When service is over, cover the leftover turkey and put it into the refrigerator. A shallow pan will facilitate cooling. Leftovers can be used to make a turkey salad for sandwiches the next day. Just chop the meat and combine it with cold mayonnaise and celery. As soon as it's prepared, the turkey salad should be covered, labeled, dated, and put into a cooler until it's time to place it on a cold line for use. And that's it. It's really very simple. So let's review the important points on your food preparation and serving flow chart. It will take you through the process step by step. We may be talking about a turkey in our example, but the same principles apply to other types of uncooked frozen meats. So let's see if you can identify some of the potential problem areas. The first potentially dangerous time is after the frozen turkey has been delivered, but before it's been put into the freezer. There should be no delay between receiving and storing frozen food items. Do you think this time is critical or non-critical? Please mark your answer in the workbook. Another potentially dangerous situation can occur when the turkey goes from the freezer to the refrigerator for defrosting. Be sure to plan your defrosting time in advance so that the turkey can thaw properly in the refrigerator. Is this time critical or non-critical? Please mark your answer in your workbook. Next is the cleaning, done under cold water, and the preparation prior to cooking, which is done at room temperature. Do you think this is a critical or non-critical time? Again, please mark your answer in your workbook. Finished? The correct answers are all critical. There must be no delay in any of these processes. Now that our turkey has been cooked, let's explore some of the different things that can happen before it reaches your customer. It can be served just as it is, with the temperature maintained in the warmer or steam table. At what minimum temperature should it be held? Write the correct temperature in the steam table box on your chart. The correct temperature is a minimum of 140 degrees. Foods that are not being kept hot for immediate service are covered, labeled, and placed under refrigeration. The next day, the turkey can be reheated in the oven, served cold, or in a salad. Look to the left of your chart and follow the steps from refrigerator to salad bar. At what maximum temperature would we hold and serve the cold turkey salad? Fill in the blank in the salad bar box on your chart. The correct temperature is a maximum of 40 degrees. I hate to get sidetracked, but don't these desserts look delicious? Did you know that gelatins and puddings are still two of the most popular dessert items on the salad bar? Hospital patients love them too. And there's some very good news in this category for those of us in healthcare food service, because now new sugar-free Jello-deserted gelatin and instant puddings are available to the food service industry. The great taste of Jello has been combined with the sugar-free, low-sodium benefits of Deserta, and your customers will love the results. When they order sugar-free Jello-deserted gelatin in any of the popular Jello flavors, like strawberry, cherry, raspberry, orange, lemon, or lime, it'll be sugar-free and great tasting, of course, and it will be lower in sodium than regular gelatin. The sugar-free puddings, too. There's rich chocolate, creamy vanilla, and smooth butterscotch, all easy to prepare instants that can be ready to serve in less than 30 minutes. And for improved texture and creaminess, they can now be made with low-fat milk instead of skim. 2% low-fat milk adds only 20 calories per serving and a lot of taste, which makes them perfect for today's health-conscious consumers. In fact, it looks so good, I don't think I can resist. So why don't we take a little break? Now it's time to look at the steam table or hotline. It's another critical area for a food service operation. The heat on the line should be turned on prior to placing hot food on it. The function of a steam table is not to reheat or to cook foods. Its job is to maintain the temperature of hot foods. Remember, hot food should be kept hot. The food served on the steam table should be placed there immediately after being cooked or reheated. Having the right utensils for the job and a separate one for each item will lessen the risk of cross-contamination. During service, it's a good idea to check the temperature of the food. Do you remember what the proper temperature of the meat sauce should be? Those of you who said 140 degrees minimum are correct. If an item on the line hasn't been used for a while, be sure to turn it or mix it to allow for even heating. This will also improve its appearance if it has set. You should always have disposable spoons handy at workstations for tasting. This food service worker has the right idea. When the food service has ended, it's important to break down the line efficiently. Hot foods that are being saved must be cooled as rapidly as possible. One surefire method is to use an ice and water bath. It also helps to reduce the volume of food and increase the surface area for faster cooling. Once again, the aim is to get the food out of the danger zone as quickly as possible. Another critical area you need to be concerned about is the salad bar. The steam table is not the place to heat foods, and the salad bar is not the place to cool them. The time and temperature concerns and the procedures for this area parallel those of the steam table. The big difference is that you're dealing with the opposite end of the danger zone. 40 degrees instead of 140 degrees. Foods high in protein on the salad bar must be kept at 40 degrees or cooler. Once again, use your thermometer to monitor these critical temperatures. Separate utensils for individual items on the salad bar are just as necessary here as on the steam table, and it's good practice to label them. Self-service salad bars especially should be monitored to prevent accidental contamination by a customer. When service is over, the salad bar is broken down. Cover the food items and get them back into the refrigerator as soon as possible. Remember, keep cold foods cold. Now it's time to take out your workbooks again and turn to Section D, steam tables and salad bars. Cross-contamination is a potential problem in both areas. This is the unintended transfer of one food to another. There are many possible times that this can occur. Can you list 3 examples? Cross-contamination can occur when utensils are used for more than one item, through the improper use of tasting spoons, when used utensils sit at room temperature, when customers mishandle food, when you refill a near-empty pan that has been removed from the line, or when a thermometer stem has not been cleaned and sanitized. It can happen easily, so be on the lookout. Now it's time to stop the tape and do the workbook exercises for this segment. Be sure to come back when you're through, because our final segment is one you won't want to miss. We have now seen how food is safely handled in the kitchen and cafeteria. Serving food to patients requires special care, but the principles we have just learned still apply in this area as well. Whether prepared meals are brought to the floor hot or cold, you need to ensure that they are in the danger zone for as short a time as possible. Two of the problem times inherent in patient delivery systems occur when plates are checked for compliance with diet orders, or during the actual delivery of meals to patients. This must be planned in advance and carried out as quickly as possible. Being familiar with procedure will help you react to the unexpected when a patient is not available at mealtime, for example, and will help you take the steps to ensure that your customer gets the best and safest product possible. So just remember this: the food service sanitation principles that have been outlined here will provide you with the necessary information to protect your customers, your colleagues, and yourself. But it's up to you, the food service professional, to apply these principles, because it really does all begin with you. We hope you've enjoyed this tape and found it helpful. On behalf of General Foods and TV Journal, this is Cindy Clark. Thank you and goodbye.
This program has been sponsored by the Food Service Division of General Foods, USA. If you would like more information about the Bird's Eye Juice Dispenser, sugar-free Jell-O dessert gelatins and instant puddings, or any other General Foods products, please call toll-free 1-800-352-BEST, or mail in the business reply postcard enclosed with your instructor's manual. General Foods USA Food Service Division. Superior customer satisfaction.